think it's fine to say to religious people that they are prohibited from gathering outside, wearing a mask, socially distanced. They can't do it. But if you want to come and protest, defund the police, if you want to support that, that's fine. You can gather en masse, person to person, close up, thousands of people. That's okay. That discrimination's okay. That is your position?
Senator, that is not my position.
It was your position. It's what you argued.
I did not write these orders. What I said.
You defended it in court. How did that case go for you?
We lost that case.
Why?
It was found that the.
Why were they struck down?
Excuse me, Senator?
Why were the restrictions that you defended struck down as discriminatory? Why were they?
Because they did not satisfy.
Why didn't they? Oh, come on, Judge. Don't make me do this. Do you want me to go through it for you? That is totally fine. You want to protest? Go for it. I think that's totally fine. That wasn't the problem here.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to Right View Nation, where we expose the truth, defend our Constitution, and call out the radical left's hypocrisy every single day. If you love America, if you believe in faith, freedom, and the rule of law, you're in the right place. Today, oh man, today we've got a bombshell for you. Senator Josh Hawley just absolutely tore into a Biden judicial nominee, Judge Amanda Alicia, during a Senate hearing, and let me tell you, it was one of the most righteous grilling I've seen in a long time. No holding back, no sugarcoating, just the raw truth. And folks, you need to see what's really going on behind the scenes with these nominees. Because this isn't just about one judge. It's about the type of people the Biden administration is quietly trying to shove onto our courts. Judges who don't respect your religious freedom. Judges who think government power should override your constitutional rights. Let's break it down.
Hawley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to all of the nominees. Judge Ali Khan, I think the last time you and I visited, it was before the Homeland Security Committee. And I asked you a number of questions there, you, including some for the record, you answered those, which I appreciated. One question that I ask you, and I ask every nominee actually on that committee and this one, is whether or not the nominee has ever litigated against a religious liberty claim. Usually the answer to that's no. In your case, you answered yes, and you listed 5 different cases over a period of years, actually, in which you have litigated against individuals or churches' religious liberty claims. So let's just talk about a few of those, if we could. Let's start with some of your work during COVID. Case you list here, Capitol Hill Baptist Church versus Bowser. Do you remember that case?
Yes, Senator.
You remember working on that case?
Yes, Senator.
This was a case involving the district's lockdown policies that shut down churches in the district. Is that correct?
It concerned litigation over provision of the lockdown policies. The policies restricted all types of activity in the district.
All types of activity in the district?
Yes, Senator.
Did it restrict mass protests in the district?
Well, it restricted activities that one normally expected, including work, going to stores. It also did include these provisions that were challenged concerning churches.
So it exempted unusual or unlikely activities that's in the statute, that's in the ordinance?
When the mayor was enacting these orders at the outset of the pandemic, I think she was trying to be as comprehensive as she could, and the order did restrict a number of daily activities of district residents.
But it exempted mass protests?
I don't believe it said anything one way or another.
Can you point me to the text where it exempted mass protests?
I don't believe it said anything one way or another.
Of course it didn't, because it didn't exempt mass protests, right? You know that.
I think it was silent on the issue because I don't believe it was contemplated by the mayor's office.
So you think that mass protests should be in a different category than religious observances? Is that your position?
I think if there were protests on the book, then the mayor might have thought about that when she was enacting the COVID-19 restrictions. But I think she was trying to protect public health.
So you think it's fine to say to religious people that they are prohibited from gathering outside, wearing a mask, socially distanced. They can't do it. But if you want to come and protest, defund the police, if you want to support that, that's fine. You can gather en masse, person to person, close up, thousands of people. That's okay. That discrimination's okay. That is your position?
Senator, that is not my position. It
was your position. It's what you argued.
I did not write these orders. What I said.
You defended it in court. And you just articulated to me what I take to be your position.
What I was doing in the Capitol Hill Baptist Church was defending the mayor, my client, against a constitutional challenge to one aspect of the COVID-19 restrictions. We understood that strict scrutiny applies.
How did that case go for you?
We lost that case.
Why?
And it was found that the restrictions did not meet the standard of strict scrutiny,
Meaning they were unconstitutional.
meaning that they did not survive strict scrutiny. And it's a matter of public record that the District of Columbia did not appeal that decision.
Why? Why were they struck down?
Excuse me, Senator?
Why were the restrictions that you defended struck down as discriminatory? Why were they?
Because they did not satisfy.
Why didn't they?
The court concluded that there were restrictions that were not neutral of general applicability.
Yeah. That's legalese. Why didn't they? Why didn't they on the facts? You know the facts. You were a good lawyer. Why'd you lose?
We lost because applying the strict scrutiny test, the court concluded that the restrictions were not narrowly tailored
Because?
to serve a compelling governmental interest.
Because?
Senator,
Oh, come on, Judge. Don't make me do this. Do you want me to go through it for you? You lost because Mayor Bowser was going to mass protests herself personally with thousands of people celebrating them. By the way, which is fine. We have the First Amendment in the United States. I want to be clear. That is totally fine. You want to protest? Go for it. I think that's totally fine. That wasn't the problem here. At the same time she was doing that, she was prohibiting churches, religious people, from gathering socially distanced outside wearing masks. And the district court said, you can't do that. That's discrimination. You can't separate people out based on their ideological beliefs or their positions. You can't do that, right? Isn't that what the district court said?
the district court said that
Do you
the
agree with
restrictions could not survive strict scrutiny.
For those reasons, right? Why are you fighting me on this? I can't figure this out.
I am not fighting you, Senator.
So yes, you agree. That's what the district court said.
That was what the district court concluded.
Do you think they got it right? The district court get it right?
The district court, we did not appeal that decision. I think that district court decision is consistent with rulings that we got from the Supreme Court clarifying the application of the religious test to COVID-19 restrictions in Tandon and the
Do you
Brooklyn
think
Archdiocese.
my time's almost expired, and I know other senators want to ask questions, so let me just very quickly here. Do you think it's wrong to discriminate on the basis of religious faith?
Absolutely, Senator.
Why did you argue that religious services, religious people pose a greater risk of infection than people gathered to argue for defunding the police?
I was representing my client. The mayor and consulting epidemiologists had issued orders that she thought were going to protect public health. It was my role to defend those as a
Why did you
member.
make that argument? That seems like a strange argument to me, that religious people are somehow, more infectious than folks who have other ideological positions? I don't get it.
My understanding was the nature of singing and other things epidemiologists thought could transmit COVID at a higher
You
rate.
didn't put any scientific evidence in the record for it.
Senator, those were fast-moving cases, and they weren't going to full briefing and full summary judgment with a record.
That's not what the district court said. The district court said that you engaged in, and your client engaged in, and you defended discrimination on the basis of religious belief, that you offered no scientific evidence for it, that you pressed these arguments over and over and over without any foundation. Frankly, I'm disappointed that you made those arguments. You can choose what arguments to make. I'm disappointed you made those arguments. I'm disappointed you persisted in defending them here today. And for that reason, among others, I will not support your nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Tillis?
Right out of the gate, Hawley nails it. He asks Judge Alicia if she's ever litigated against religious liberty. And guess what? She has. 5 times. Let that sink in. Most nominees say no. Most people, even on the left, know better than to mess with the First Amendment. But not this judge. She's made a career out of fighting religious Americans in court. She's been actively working to suppress the rights of people of faith. And that, my friends, is dangerous. Let's talk about that case. Capitol Hill Baptist Church sued Washington, D.C. because the mayor, radical leftist Muriel Bowser, told them they couldn't gather for church services, not even outside, socially distanced, and wearing masks. Now, what were left-wing protesters doing at the exact same time? Oh, they were out in the streets, shoulder to shoulder, screaming, "Defund the police," marching in the thousands. And the mayor herself was right there with them. So what did Judge Alicia do? She defended that hypocrisy in court. She argued that religious Americans posed a bigger threat to public health than woke protesters. She argued with a straight face that worshiping God was more dangerous than chanting political slogans in the street. You can't make this stuff up, and Hawley, he wasn't having it. He kept asking her, "Why did you defend this? Why did you argue that religious people are somehow more infectious than left-wing protesters?" Her answer? "Well, I was just doing my job. I was representing my client." "Sorry, Judge, but that doesn't fly. Because when you're an attorney, you choose what arguments to make. You decide how hard to fight. And you made the choice over and over again to stand against religious liberty. You argued against the Constitution. And now you want a lifetime seat on a federal bench? Not on our watch. This is what the left is trying to do. Sneak radicals into the judiciary who don't believe in the fundamental rights this country was built on. They want to rewrite the First Amendment. They want government to decide when and where you can practice your faith. They want to punish you if your beliefs don't line up with their woke agenda. And here's the kicker. The court struck her arguments down. They said her position violated the Constitution. It failed strict scrutiny. It was not neutral, not generally applicable, and not legal. The court found that religious Americans were discriminated against, plain and simple. That should have ended her career right there. But instead, the Biden administration gives her a nomination, a promotion, a pat on the back. This is why elections matter. This is why we have to stay engaged, because if we don't, they will stack the courts with judges who hate our values and will never defend our freedoms. Senator Hawley did what every conservative leader should be doing, holding the line, asking the tough questions, standing up for people of faith, standing up for the Constitution. We need more of that, a lot more, and we need to demand better from the people who are given power in this country. Because if they're willing to shut down churches while praising protests, they're not interested in equality. They're interested in control. Here's the bottom line, patriots. We can't sit back while the radical left tries to destroy the foundation of this nation. We have to speak up. We have to show up. And we have to fight, not with violence, but with courage, conviction, and the power of truth. This is Right View Nation, and we will never stop defending America, our Constitution, and the God-given rights that make this country great. If you're with us, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Let's get this truth out there. Let's wake more people up, and let's remind them what real American values look like. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.